All right, here it comes. This is going to be a pretty effective parachute. I mean, the parachute will never slow you down more than blank, just by virtue of aerodynamics. There's a minimum speed that it can work at. Dino Riders. Yeah, Freedom Force. It is available on Steam. I have no idea if it runs on modern computers. I feel like it doesn't. I think that's one of the reasons I haven't done a retro Let's Play for it. I think there are technical problems on modern computers. So, you know, buyer beware there. But yeah, it was a fantastic game. What's that character's name? El Diablo. He's one of the best. Good flavor text on that guy. So, 2.8 meters per second. That's a lot slower than I expected. I did not believe the parachute would actually be able to bring us down that slow. It's on GOG? Yeah, maybe. Because I've got it on Steam. Freedom Force versus the Third Reich was not as good. It was the sequel. Something about the charm wasn't exactly the same. But yeah, it's $5 on Steam. It says OS, Windows XP/Vista. And yeah, a lot of thumbs down on Steam saying it's unplayable. I'm using Windows 10, 64-bit, etc., etc. So you could... Oh my god, are we sinking? You know, it's really funny when they did add the buoyancy in here. Like, the idea of something sinking in Kerbal is still something that's very foreign to me. But apparently, this is totally fine. Yeah, we're literally going to sink to the bottom of the sea. But we're going slow enough that we can still do a recover vessel. Or can we? We can't. The button's there, but it's not letting me do it. I don't think we're going to be able to recover our probe until it literally hits the bottom of the sea. It's a submarine now. It's not a glitch, it's just... It's too dense. Because it's not a, you know... It's not a manned capsule, right? So it doesn't have... Any chance if we jettison the heat shield? The heat shield's heavy. Nope, we're still sinking. Yeah, we're too dense, because it's not a capsule that's filled with air. Oh, wait. I thought, oh, maybe it's because I was time warping, but no. Apparently the heat shield's not sinking as quickly as the rest of us. How deep is the ocean here? We really should just make a submarine, though. Hell, we'll need something to recover this. We could, like, fake a mission for it. Well, this is exciting. How deep is the ocean? Question is, how far... We're not that far from shore, so... I mean, it can't be, like, thousands of meters deep here, right? Ah, yeah, good advice. Spin and leave the heat shield. I'll fall faster. There we go. Actually, I'll fall faster at an angle. Look at that! I guess it does... I mean, it makes sense. If I go at an angle, I'll fall faster. Turn on the SAS. Oh my god, where's the bottom? So, how are you? I'm good. Still pretty tired. Oh. Just let it drop down, start a new flight, pick it up in a bit. I don't know if I can go to the Space Center here. I think, yeah. I think if we did anything right now, it would just, like, revert to the last save. You can leave this if you're not moving or if you're in space. But if you're inside the atmosphere or whatever, like a planet's surface, you can't just leave while it's moving. So we're going to keep going down at 0.9 meters per second until we find the bottom. There's the heat shield, though. Recover from tracking station. No. See, I can't. It's what I'm trying to tell you. Normally, yeah, I mean, we can recover from tracking station, but I can't move to the tracking station while it's moving. I gotta wait for this thing to come to a halt. Did it specify you had to recover? You know what? You're right. I mean, we still have to wait for this to finish before we can really leave this. But it did complete the mission at least, so even if something goes like wickedly wrong, we've completed the contract because we didn't... it says orbit and recovery, but we just had to be landed. We don't actually have to hit the recover button, but we will want to. Escape? Oh yeah, MechJeb. Can MechJeb tell us the underwater information? You can get surface info. Because yeah, you get your true altitude above ground level, but that counts the surface of the sea. Oh, I can see the ground now. There we go. We're almost there. Submarine status achieved. And I can still see the shadow of the heat shield, which is way up there. Because normally when you land in the ocean, you just float because you're buoyant. And previous to a certain patch, you would always just float because there was no underwater. But then they added underwater. So you can make proper ships and you can make submarines now. Their true landing speed. Thump. Hooray! And it explodes when it hits too hard. Yeah, that would be crazy. Would be good practice when you start drilling into some frozen oceans on Titan. So we got basically no signs from recovering that. But we completed a couple of very important milestone missions. So now we got contracts. Moon flyby with a probe. Okay, that sounds good. Kerbal powered landing. Vessel any vessel type probe. A little confusing. Oh shit. Yes, this sounds great. This is great. Oh, I can't do it. I've got too many missions right now. Can I finish one really quickly? I'll have to do this. I should just abandon this. I realize we'll lose more money than we got. Because we got about 15 minutes left to our normal single player. I'm gonna cancel the satellite mission. We can always cheat in some money if like something comes up. But I love this powered landing. Oh, this is cool. So we have to go. We have to have a probe that's got no parachutes, no wings. It's got to get to It's got to get to 500 meters, and then it's got to land. Land or splash down on Kerbal. Oh, we have to be within 40 meters of the black monolith. Okay, this is going to be fantastic. Now, this would be a good case study for our. I did write a script for the scripting module for like a hover bot. It's actually quite easy to do something like that. That'd be a good case study for it. So what we need is, I mean, clearly we need a probe core. That's fine. And it's going to need some amount of fuel. It's not going to need tons, but maybe something like that. It is going to need something that works well in an atmosphere. These spider engines work pretty much as well in an atmosphere as a vacuum. If I do something like this, what's our thrust to weight? That might be a little lower than we'd want. Oh, that's a lot of delta V. You know what? We can make do with just one of these tanks, as long as we don't add too much weight to things. Now, do we want to use RCS? Do we want to throw a solar panel on this? We really don't need much. I think I actually will throw one solar panel on top. I think we can go with just this. Oh, and some sort of landing strut. Gonna add a lot of weight to have the 4. I'm assuming these engines can't handle much of an impact. 7 meters per second. And landing struts can handle a lot more. I guess we'll do it right. Hoverlander Mark 1, codenamed. The abridged cuts. Yeah, all these mods were installed through CCAN. I don't install anything directly. Literally, the screenshot of my mod list is from CCAN. So the question is just if it would be better, if it would be necessary to do this with like monopropellant and like little thrusters that way. I don't usually do that with my landers. Okay, oh, it set a waypoint for us. So we got to land within 40 meters of that thing. So SAS on for stability. Actually, you know what would be very handy is MechJeb in here, because we can put in like angles relevant to the surface for some of these things. But for now, just the stability is going to be fine. So let's lift off on full throttle. And go... Which direction are we going in? That direction. There it is. Okay, well, we've reached the height. Okay, hold on. I've completely foobarred any sense of up and downness. You know what I need? I need some sort of flag on this so that I can remember which way is the front. Alright. There we go. There we are. Good, 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 good. Now, I want to burn and kill my horizontal speed. We may have wanted a little bit more reaction wheels because this is a bit slow. Kill your horizontal speed, and then burn surface level. So we're just burning retrograde now. There we go. I don't suspect we're close enough. Kill some speed, so I'm just facing straight up. We're gonna lower down because we're way too far up. Oh shit, we're out of gas! Oh no! Landing legs are sturdy, but they're not that sturdy. So, just out of curiosity, I wonder how close we'll be. Now entering monolith. Oh, well, we were close enough! So, yeah, I'll just take the hit. But what I want to do actually is I want to make sure to do this at daytime because I just realized that it was really, it was a little harder to see. It'll be really helpful if we can get our shadow. That wasn't bad. Okay, warp next morning. So the problem was, like I was saying, I was having a hard time like figuring out which way to tilt at first. So I was like trying a bunch of different angles, and it was like, that's not the way, that's not the way, that's not the way. Which way's forward? So our target is to our north. So I should keep that in mind with my nav ball. So we'll tilt northwise. There we go. There. That it's going to help a lot. There's 500. So let's throttle down. Face up, face up, face up, face up. Up. How come you're not actually going up? Alright, let's try that again. I think we need another reaction wheel. I think because I don't think it's a gimbling engine. I don't know if these little Twitch engines are supposed to be gimbling. I'm not sure. Oh, it's top heavy! Oh my god! I can't... Okay. I can't do the thing. It's too top heavy. You need shoots because the mission said so. No, Deadly Noob. The mission is explicitly no shoots allowed. I mean, I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure. Alright. Get a more intense reaction wheel on here. Because, yeah, as soon as it tips over, I can't flip it back. That's what was going on last time. Yeah, so we got all the check marks because we don't have any parachutes. Alright, we're climbing. Yeah, now I actually have much more control, which is good. And it's not tipping over. So we're hovering over. We'll have to climb a little bit more. There we go. There we go. Now it's feeling much more right. Okay, slow, slow, slow. Kill some more horizontal thing. We popped over 500, that's great. We need to keep drifting before this. A little closer. We're dropping down slightly. Fuel. We're at halfway. Okay, just bring our retrograde marker to the top of the nav ball. I think we might be a little too far. Feels good. Hooray! Great success! Recover vessel. Whoo! Looks like El Presidente's ICBM program. That sort of shit, that's some of the hardest stuff to do in Kerbal. Because, like, you can't just sort of, like, set a vector and, like, let, you know, your momentum go, because you're constantly having to fight what gravity is trying to do, and... Whew! That stuff is tricky. Bum, bum, bum. So yeah, I wrote a program for the hover behavior, which is really easy to work out. Just a PID controller, PID controller. So, SETI contract, what's next? Right, the moon flyby we've already taken. Manned orbit and safe return. So we've already done that once, but we didn't actually have the contract. So we'll take that, although I think the moon flyby is what we're going to do first. It'll be a lot easier if the tracking station were upgraded. But yeah, we're going to have a... Do we have to return to complete that mission? I bet you we don't. We might still want to do it, though. Probe type, collect science, destination moon, low in space, recovery or transmit. So, no, we don't have to bring the probe back, but we do have to ship science. So, for example, this satellite that we had here, we can go and modify this up a little bit. It's actually got enough delta V to get to the moon, especially if it doesn't have to come back. We will have to add in an antenna, so that it can transmit back home. Any antenna should be perfectly sufficient for this. This one's a little lighter, right? Yeah. So we'll just throw this communitron on there. It does have the temperature thing. So it's got one science experiment. You can save a little bit of weight by not having those decouplers. We don't actually need a parachute. We will still want a nose cone on this for our initial departure. Got plenty of battery power, so that's not a thing. So, I mean, we'd ideally want a few more science experiments to help make the trip a little bit more worthwhile. That's going to be too big and too heavy. And actually, we might just go with the temperature and the atmospheric thing. I think those are maybe the only two things that transmit for 100% as well. Did I see Wonder Woman yet? Yeah, Wonder Woman is fantastic. Really great movie. Look at this, we got 6,000 delta V now because we stripped off a few parts. So this might go with only 2 experiments. It's cheap as chips, though. It's under 5K for this. Tons of fuel. I think that's going to be okay. So it's still essentially the Mark 1 satellite. It's just we've changed the payload. I'm just hoping this antenna has range, and I think it will. If the antenna doesn't have range, we can upgrade the tracking station, because your total connection strength is based on the strength of the ship's antenna plus the ground antenna. So, and we'll use MechJub over here. Make our life a little simpler. We're going to point straight up to take off first. Oh, yeah. And then be ready to execute 10-degree pitch over. Right around now. Okay, Bob. Well, we don't have the gas to get you home. Say no more, as he straps himself in. That's never happened. I've never sent people on a one-way trip. I don't know why you guys would even start rumors like that. It's all fake news. You can be surface prograde. Time to apoapsis is climbing, I think, exactly at the right time, pace that we're looking for right here. Bum, 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 bum. Wonder Woman is still inherently an action movie, but it is very good, quite smart, does good things. It's definitely worthy of the praise that it's been receiving. So, this, we're going to do a lunar flyby. In fact, there's actually a really good chance we'll just be able to get into lunar orbit and just park there. I suspect that's exactly what we're going to do, in fact. Angle's good. Maybe a little steeper. We can probably go and throttle down just a little bit to reduce some of the steepness here. But yeah, it's still inherently an action movie. So if you're not into superhero action movies, it's hard to say it. You know, that Wonder Woman will be for you. But it's pretty good. It's as good as Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Yeah, they're different. They achieve different goals. I mean, part of the reason Guardians of the Galaxy is so funny, is so good, is because it is quite funny, right? We can just kill that. Our apoapsis is definitely a lot higher than we were looking for, but that's okay. So, again, normally, if you had your tracking station upgraded, we can go and put some maneuvers here. But we're going to do this entire lunar flyby maneuverless. So, go ahead and time warp. At this point, you're going to be orbital prograde. That's going to be fine. It's going to time warp until we're out of there. Well, physics warp, actually. And then, what's the time to apoapsis? 2 minutes. We can go and fast forward to at least 30 seconds. 50, 40, 30. Turn to face prograde, which is quite slow because it's just the one reaction wheel in our satellite core that's letting us turn here, and this is quite heavy, but once this is gone, we'll be pretty maneuverable. And go. So we'll burn through the rest of the fuel here. We are raising the apoapsis a bit, but that's okay. It's not happening too much. And stage and fire. And then we'll wait here because we've got lots of time to the apoapsis again. Bring that a fair bit down and circularize. And let's remember to extend these solar panels like so. So, the neat trick for going to the moon is this. You circularize, get an orbit, that's fine. And make sure you're in an equatorial orbit, which we are. And then what's going to happen is at some point you're going to see the moon rise. And as soon as it does, burn prograde. It's going to happen, well, obviously, if the moon is here, right, we're going to see the moon rise when we get right around here. All right, we'll just come around Kerbal, we'll see the moon, and that's when you just go ahead and burn prograde. So I'm going to just quick save here. Oh, I guess I can't time warp at all. Yeah, that's funny. Like, I can't do the click and time warp without the tracking station. So I'm just time warping to here to keep an eye on the probe. So right around here, I'm going to hit the brakes, go back to our forward view, and I'm just going to wait for the moon to rise. Who needs calculations? You just eyeball the shit. There's the moon. So we're burning prograde. The moon has officially cleared the horizon. We're just going to burn. So now what we're doing is this. The moon is orbiting this way. This is our orbit, which is growing. When our apoapsis reaches around here, which is what's going to happen, right? We're pushing out this way. The moon, by the time we get there, the moon will have reached here as well, and we'll get an encounter. If you had your tracking station upgraded to like the next level, then you'll actually see your orbit change at that point as it does the conics previews. Almost certainly we'll have the encounter at this point. To be safe, I can go a little bit more, but there you go. Almost certainly this will lead to a moon encounter. That's no moon. So we still have lots of fuel, lots of delta V, 1500, it's crazy. So all we're going to do now is we're going to time warp. So we're limited to times 50 until we get a little higher up, then we can go faster. Oops. Oh, we can science here. Oh, this is our first time in high orbit. Oh, well there you go, transmitting some science home. Might as well. Okay, let's try that again here. So we can go to times 100, times 1000. It will automatically de-time warp us when we change sphere of influence. But I did quick save before we did this, just in case, because every now and again things go a little cray-cray. Oh, stop. Do we have a signal? Well, first of all, let's extend this out. And unlike remote tech, you do have the ability to do a bit more. Yeah, we have a nice strong signal. Oh, only 81%! So not infinitely strong, but we will have the signal the whole way. If we did upgrade the tracking station, I'm very confident that we would have 100% signal. But yeah, in remote tech, if you'd forgotten to like extend your antennas, you'd be screwed at this point. It's a little annoying. There we go. There's our encounter with the moon. High orbit. We're going to transmit this. Transmit the temperature scan. Okay. Here's us. There's the moon. So, I want you to... Is it not backspace to recenter on yourself? I want to... Okay. I don't know why I still focus on the Earth until I click here. So obviously right now we're on a crash collision, which would still let us complete our quest, but that doesn't sound like a very good idea. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to burn... Well, from this angle, I'm going to say like upwards. We're burning outwards from our orbit, so we're trying to push this line over to the right this way. And that is a radial burn, which we can find on our little orbit meter. It's not that one, it's the other one, but I'm just going to click this button for plus radial. So it's this one here, it's the circle with the lines going out. So if we do this burn, you can see what we're doing is we're pushing this line out that way. Further and further and further, and there we go. Periapsis of 26 kilometers is fine. So now we will no longer hit the moon. I don't remember where the difference between high orbit and low orbit is for the moon, somewhere around like 60k or something like that. So at some point we'll get there, and as long as we transmit science from there, we'll complete our quest. But it's our first time doing a flyby of the moon. And moon flyby, we have to be in low space. So we're gonna let that go. And yeah, I've got plenty of fuel left. So the idea is going to be when we get near... I'm going to just time warp to the periapsis. It doesn't actually give us the time to the periapsis, which is interesting, I guess because it's not a closed orbit. But whenever we get near here, I'm going to burn retrograde to lower our apoapsis, which is somewhere out in the infinity of space. It's going to close the loop and put us into a proper orbit. I do need a Quill Science emote, you're right. For this, for Civ, for Stellaris, for so many games. I like it. What should our Quill Science emote be? Should it be me like with goggles, or one of those old-timey like mirrors for light, or should it just like be a beaker? Maybe it shouldn't be my face. Oh, we're getting science. Communicate. So we're now in low orbit. We've transmitted that science, completed the mission, which is lovely. And just because it's cool, like we could abandon this probe forever. But we're here, we may as well go into orbit, and every now and again you might get a mission that says something like transmit data from the moon that will allow you to use an existing ship. So you just switch over to the ship, do an experiment, even if it's worth 0 science, you should be able to transmit it back and complete those contracts for some cheap and easy money. So we can fast forward just a little bit more. The closer we are to the periapsis, the better this will be. There we go. So we're in retrograde here, so we're facing opposite our direction. And if we burn, there you go, we've closed the loop. And we keep bringing down the apoapsis. And what's going to happen here is, remember, what we're doing is we're lowering the opposite side of the loop. Eventually, if we keep burning, this will become the periapsis, so these things will start moving around. But what's happened here is our periapsis has gotten too low. It's only 2 kilometers above the surface of the moon, and the moon has mountains that could be that high. We could potentially smack into something. So what I'm going to do here, these are not effective maneuvers, but I'm going to burn radial to, you're going to see, I'm just going to turn this by pushing things to the right here, which will bring that into the left. It'll sort of make everything a little bit more circular. And there we go. And if I wanted to, I could circularize more just for whatever, but you know what? I'm perfectly happy with this. So we have a satellite in orbit of the moon, and it'll be here forever. It's got, you know, it doesn't need life support. It's got life support. They're called solar panels. Done. Cool goggles with hair on fire. Yeah, I kind of object to the idea of my hair on fire too. But yeah, we can just bop back to the Space Center. All right. I'm going to save. And I need a quick bio break. But it feels like we've got time for one more mission. What are our study contracts? Minmus and Kerbal. Want a probe to transmit or recover scientific information from space low above Minmus and from high above Kerbal itself. Kerbal is our sun. So this one we'd have to slingshot, like, fly by Minmus, but then keep going out of the system, possibly as a bit of a slingshot as well, to exit the sphere of influence of Kerbin and transmit some science from the sun. There's no reason the satellite we just did can't just do that mission. In fact, it's entirely conceivable that we might have been able to literally use that existing satellite to complete it. We might still be able to, actually. And then a moon landing mission. So I gotta go and take a quick bio. We're gonna see if that satellite has enough juice in it to actually be able to do a Minmus flyby, and I'm willing to bet it does. We did use more than we needed to by getting into an orbit, but I think we probably have enough. We'll see how it goes. Be right back, 2 minutes, folks.